The life of a superhero is a busy one. It's hard as readers to keep up with all of their adventures, let alone their love life. That's where we come in. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's time to talk about superhero romances you may have missed. Number 10. Cable and X-23. This relationship was somewhat implied in the second volume of Fallen Angels from 2019. Here, young Cable and X-23, aka Wolverine, aka Laura Kinney, are brought together to join Quinn's Psylocke on a mission to uncover the location of her daughter, and what happened to her. During the series, there were lots of great flirting and bantery moments between young Cable or Kid Cable and X-23. We'd also learn in the Cable series from the same period that young Cable was popular on the island, dating actually a bunch of young and eligible mutant ladies. While X-23 and Cable's relationship never really seemed to grow into anything permanent, it was still a fun time and kind of a random ship that seemed to work surprisingly well. Of course, this was before Laura got with Sync during their time together in the vault, but that of course might be a story for another list, if you're unfamiliar with that one. Also, if you are, goodness, I need to put that on a list because it's such a lovely relationship. Number 9. Batman and Batgirl. Batman and Batgirl. Oh boy. We've talked about this one before on the channel, but it's such an unlikely pairing that it's pretty easy to miss if you're not aware of it. And if you're new, I mean, welcome to this awkwardness because you've probably never heard me tell you about it before. These two ended up together in the animated universe, where in Batman Beyond it was suggested that the two had a relationship. We later learned through the Batman Beyond comics set in that same world that not only did this happen, but that Barbara and Bruce, who already are typically more portrayed as having a mentor and teacher relationship, hooked up behind Dick Grayson's back while he was away. And that their time together actually resulted in Barbara becoming pregnant with Bruce's child. The baby never made it to full term, and the loss of the potential child did end the relationship between Batgirl and Batman. Although we'd still revisit that in another animated movie, but yeah. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want to hear me talk about more relationships that you might have missed, especially between superheroes, or at least one of them being a superhero, let me know your thoughts in the comments below because I would love to give you that list. And don't forget to smash that like. Thumbs up. Number 8. Speed and Prodigy. This one might just be selfishly included for me, because it's a relationship that I personally always forget about. So I'm gonna include it here, in case you, like me, also somehow forgot about this one. I think the reason this one gets overlooked in my mind is just because of the big energy that we get from Hulkling and Wiccan's relationship, which kinda tends to overshadow Wiccan's brother Tommy, aka Speed, and what he has going on. I love Prodigy though, and every time I read him, it helps to jog my memory. Every time I'm reading about Prodigy, I'm like, oh yeah, Prodigy's with Speed. Also, these two were both kind of on the back burner for a while, but guess what? If you're a shipper of Speed and Prodigy together, they're kinda back together in the forefront, and of course better than ever. At least somewhat in the forefront. I mean, I don't think they're gonna be beating Hulkling and Wiccan in terms of being in the forefront anytime soon, but those two together are like so cosmic. Number 7. Superman and Luma Linei. Superman and Luma Linei were brought together by Supergirl, who wanted to help her cousin, Kal-El, find the perfect mate. Trying her hand at playing matchmaker, Supergirl found for him the superpowered blonde Luma Linei. Luma actually looked pretty much exactly like Supergirl, which sounds awkward, but that was kind of the whole point of this match. In Action Comics Volume 1, issue 289, Supergirl tries setting up Superman 3 times, and the third time only seems to stick because Superman actually shares with Supergirl that if he had to marry anyone, he'd want it to be someone just like her. Well, that's not weird at all. Your cousins. That's not weird at all. So Supergirl heads to the planet Starro, locating a match that is remarkably similar to a grown-up version of her. Fortunately, Luma can't come back to Earth. Oh no. Because our yellow sun is harmful to her, despite giving Superman his powers. So the two are only together for this one issue and then they're basically forced apart forever. Well, Superman actually offers to stay with Luma on her home world instead, but she just refuses the offer in tears. Because comics. Superman's gotta be Superman, so he's like, I can't actually marry you, so I need you to refuse me, please. The writers were like, that's how we'll get him out of this one. Great. Number 6. Iron Man and Emma Frost. One that I'm still waiting to happen in the comics is the coupling of Tony Stark and Emma Frost. Okay, so admittedly, That is a thing that kind of already happened. Tony and Emma used to be friends with benefits for a time, and it was referred to back by the two of them in issue 3 of the 2006 Civil War series. But what I'm talking about here is actually a foreshadowed wedding that was mentioned in History of the Marvel Universe issue number 6. This was something that was intended to be coming up that hadn't happened yet. I'm not necessarily holding my breath for this one, as plans in the mutant lineup have kind of changed of late, but I'm still keeping my eye out for these two to come together. And maybe you should too, because you know, that future might not be so far away. That way you can also join me on my aha moment when and if it does come to pass. And then when it happens, you too can be in on it, and you can be like, I knew it! We talked about it on this list. Number 5. Batman and Black Canary. A lot of people think of Black Canary as only really having eyes for Green Arrow. Often in the comics, these two superheroes have been painted as soulmates for one another. But hey, you know, that wasn't always the case. There was a time in the comics when Black Canary actually had second thoughts as to whether or not her and Ollie were really meant to be. When she was having doubts, Batman was there for her, and the two at one point in main continuity shared a passionate kiss. Well, back when Earth 1 was considered the main continuity anyways, before it was retconned to be considered an alternate Earth. In regards to the old once main continuity of Earth 1 though, that's about as far as it ever got between these two heroes. However, in Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin, the two are actually lovers, at least for a time, with Batman also kind of being the more reluctant participant when it comes to the somewhat unlikely couple. But Black Canary is super into it, and Batman's like, I mean, I'm here. I would do this. Number 4. Luke Cage and She-Hulk. Luke Cage is a guy who you usually think of as being with Jessica Jones. Why? Well, because the two are married and they also have a daughter together. Also, they're super cute together. The two of them are an amazing power couple. But before they tied the knot and ended up committing to one another, did you know that Luke Cage actually went on a date with She-Hulk? Yep. After winning a bet, he got Jennifer Walters to commit to going out to dinner with him. Honestly, these two together are also a great pair when you think about it. Both are strong, both are witty, and both are committed to doing whatever it takes to save civilians in peril. Unfortunately, their relationship really only consisted of that one date as far as I know, which is also why you might have missed this brief pairing. If you want to check out this date though, which coincidentally gets interrupted by some baddies but then even continues after that, check out Heroes for Hire issue 17. And I believe that's Heroes for Hire volume number 1 from the 90s. Number 3. Supergirl and Jimmy Olsen. This happened in Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. What a wonderful, weird series. What happened? Well, Supergirl, who has at times been shipped with Soup's pal, ties the knot with Jimmy Olsen himself. Jimmy gets all the ladies in the comics, but really he kinda does. Must be that ginger charm. Jimmy Olsen ends up with Supergirl in this case because she gets amnesia. Jimmy, not knowing that Linda Danvers is Supergirl's secret identity, accidentally exposes her to red kryptonite when she attends a show where he's basically showing off all his trophies and his souvenirs from his exploits with Superman. The two are wed, and it's only after their wedding, when they are married, that the effects of the red kryptonite wear off, with Linda getting her memories and her superpowers back. Now, Supergirl has a dilemma because, you know, she wants Jimmy to also love that other side of her. Because yeah, she gets her memories back and she's like, yeah, I'm married to Jimmy Olsen, I love it. So she wants Jimmy to fall in love with her true Kryptonian side. So what is a girl to do? Well, obviously try to get him to cheat on his wife, who is of course still her, with her superhero persona of Supergirl, right? Isn't that what we do? It was a different time, folks. Jimmy ends up being conflicted when he believes both women are interested in him, with Supergirl actually propositioning him for marriage even though he's already married to Linda. In the end though, everything is resolved and Jimmy realizes he's married to Supergirl and Linda, who are one and the same. However, this issue also ends with the fact that this is all an imaginary tale. Haha, joke's on you, reader. So the wedding that thousands of readers, as described in the intro, had apparently been waiting for was actually all a sham. Aw, DC, you got us. But hey, in an alternate reality where this happened, the two are possibly still married, so fun facts. Number 2. Human Torch and Mr. Fantastic. That is right, speaking of alternate realities, there is an alternate reality over at Marvel where the Human Torch is the older Storm sibling who ends up married to Reed Richards. This alternate team of the FF appear in issue 563 of the Fantastic Four series, legacy numbering of course. Here we meet Jack Storm, who is Reed Richards' partner in crime fighting and his partner in romance. Jack is the older sibling and Sue is the younger, though she is still a member of the team as the Invisible Woman. Unfortunately, their alternate world was in pretty bleak shape when we saw them in that issue. The whole team died, but we can't assume there was a time in this reality where Jack and his husband Reed were actually quite happy together, before everything pretty much ended. This couple existed in the reality of Earth 93563. Number 1. Harley Quinn and Harley Quinn. Now, I think at this point we can almost certainly count Harley as a superhero. I mean, at least an anti-hero, at the very least. While she may have won Villain of the Year only a few years ago in 2019, she still has played an active role when it comes to the hero side of things in the comics, even teaming up with Batman in Joker War and joining the Bat family in a more recurring role as Bat's sidekick this year in 2021 in the Batman series. So for that reason, I'm gonna count her for this list. Also, I love Harley for the reason that she is constantly changing and evolving so much. It's hard to pin her down as either hero or villain permanently. It's great. I like when people are like, what are they? They're kind of complicated. That's what they are. In her own series, Harley's Little Black Book, here Harley teams up with herself, her bombshell self that is. Harley's Little Black Book, in case you didn't know, is actually a team-up book for Harley Quinn. Also, if you haven't read it, go check it out. It's pretty wild and pretty fun. Because Harley ends up teaming with herself in issue number 4 of this series, she can't resist and of course gives herself a big kiss. While main continuity Harley is all about it and even proclaims, hey, she's a pretty good kisser, bombshell Harley does not seem to feel any sparks between them, thinking that the main continuity Harley is actually a trick created by her enemies. Gotta love the self-love. What are some of your favorite lesser-known superhero hookups or romances? Which unexpected relationships do you most ship? Which fanships do you wish would become fictional reality? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to stay nerdy, YouTube.